Hello there, Seth here. On August 12th, when we were coming back from Toledo, Ohio from visiting the National Great Lakes Museum, I had found out beforehand that the last steam locomotive built by the Lima Locomotive Works was in Lima, Ohio. The Lima Locomotive Works built many locomotives, and some of the most notable locomotives that were built at the Lima Locomotive Works was the Chesapeake in Ohio, Allegheny Type 1601, which is on display at the Henry Ford Museum, and the Berkshire for the Pere Marquette Railroad, 1225. My understanding was all the Berkshires for the Pere Marquette Railroad were built from Lima, as was the Berkshires for the Nickel Plate Road, which includes the 765, the 755, the 757, the 779, the 763, and obviously the 779, which we want to see. But the Lima Locomotive Works put out a lot of engines, including a lot of steam locomotives. They also built the famous Daylight Southern Pacific 4449, which I hope to see someday in person. Now, after finding out that the 779 was the last locomotive built by the Lima Locomotive Works, something made seeing this locomotive in person special. You know, as we had seen the other nickel plate road locomotives such as the 755 and the 757, and just seeing all the locomotives at the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum, it was cool to see them. You know, seeing these great pieces of history still preserved. But there was just something about actually seeing the 779 in person that made it cooler. So, let's now go to the footage of the 779. The 779, while on display to the public, is pretty much gated away from the public. It's only a few times a year, to my understanding, when they unlock the exhibit and allow people to walk around and see the locomotive and the coaches and the cabooses. The 779 is in great shape. It is in much better shape than the 755 in my opinion, and obviously the 757. And I haven't seen the 759 in person or the 763. The 779 was built in 1949. It and the L&N Railroad 1991 were sitting side by side in the shop undergoing the final assembly. The glass that covered the lights is missing off of the regular headlight. Mars headlight has a huge crack in front of it. But other than that, the 779 looks like it's in decent shape. So, the L&N 1991 obviously left the shops a little beforehand. But on Friday morning, May 13th, 1949 at 9:40 a.m., the Nickel Plate Road 779 steamed through the gates of the Lima Locomotive Works, and that was pretty much the last steam locomotive Lima built. After that, they pretty much built diesels as dieselization was happening in America. I've read on a few different websites that the dieselization of America would have happened sooner if it wasn't for World War II. It was donated to the city of Lima in 1963. And there's just something cool about it, knowing that that was the last steam locomotive built by Lima Locomotive Works. It just adds a whole new perspective to the locomotive. And believe it or not, the 765's crew actually has an agreement with the city of Lima to take parts from the 779 when they become worn out on the 765. Anyhow, if you're in Lima, Ohio, hopefully you're there on a weekend when it is open. And the 779 is just cool to see. The builder's plates to me look like they're the original builder's plate because the locomotive was saved. It is in great shape, and it is under shelter and under lock and keys. Something to mention, this is the only S3 class nickel plate Berkshire that is still in existence, and it was originally fitted with the Mars light, unlike the S2 and the S1 classes, which were fitted with the Mars light later, to my understanding. The city pretty much has the 779 locked up, so people don't steal parts from the locomotive, which is common with many locomotives that are left on public display. After we saw the 779, we got to see a quick freight train roll by. Anyhow, this is set. Ahead again. Boom.